Yeah, hello everyone. So in the last two videos, I've spoken about how to use context, and the same thing applies to Redux as well, effectively, and with best practices and the problems that you face in real-time scenarios that I've tried to solve. Now, in this video, this is the third of that same video series, where if you see, if I'm having a, I was giving an example of a step form, right? So three-step form, like split step form, step one, step two, step three. Forms you are filling at every step, and then at the end the form will be submitted. Okay, the same can be as a different example will be an authentication authorization kind of setup, or any other setup where context or Redux is used. Okay, complex setups I'm telling. Now, one of the problem is, so let's give the example of a form setup. So if you are along with the filling of the forms, what you can have. So if I do API call, I can show some messages that, okay, the form submission is success or failure, like that I can show. Or maybe the validation, if I do, then in that form of validation also, I can have some messages, some alerts, some notification coming that, okay, this is not true or false. So at the local level, you can maintain the validation, but you can have a kind of a message kind of a structure also, where you show validation messages there as well. Okay, basically you are leveraging the error or success API success failure messages as validation messages also, you can write over that. Okay, anyway, that is one thing, that is the alert notification of a success or failure of API call or validation messages. And second is the loading state, like when you do API call, you first show the loader, and when the it's a success or failure, you have to stop the loader. Okay, these are the two different things that is accompanied by the form state filling up. Okay, now if you keep both the states inside the form state object itself, the problem will be, a lot of problems will happen. That is, one of them will be overwritten, right? The form values can be overwritten if you don't manage it properly, or like in the previous yesterday's videos I said about deep merge of the states, or the old state. How will you merge manually? You can merge, or you can use something like Lodash, where you can have something like deep merge, or some other library also you can use, where you can you have to manually do it, right? But it's pretty complex, because number of form values input field increases more than 4, 5, 6, then it is very difficult to manage it, right? So the solution for this is, you have to keep your basically these alerts and everything, alerts and loader are side effects. They are not main form. So our state management for form has to be a separate object. Then the loader and the alert message state variables. Okay, these should be separate, because these are side effects. Okay, I'll share my screen, and because I've written some notes, so it will be easier to explain while reading out the notes. So that the reason I'll be sharing the screen. So if I just share the screen. Okay, let me close this. I'm recording over Zoom here. So clear separation of, so this, the problem is dispatching alert notification and loading state along with form values is creating issues, and how to manage them. Okay, it will definitely create issues because of overreturn of the state. Okay, even if you do carefully, that it will happen. Okay, and these are real-time scenarios. Okay, so how to manage them is clear separation of concerns, which means that your form data state should include only actual user input. Whatever user input values you have kept, for them state variable will be created. That is one. Okay. Now the loading or response or error or alert state are side effects or metadata. So it should be separate state variables. Okay, it shouldn't be part of the form data. Although you are using that as at the same time, but it should be separate. Okay, I'll write code and then I'll show you. And then keeping them together leads to what? Messy reducer. Yeah, reducer can't manage affect everything. Okay, and it needs skills to kind of write, take the old state, use spread operator, copy it and do it. So if you miss something, then gone, everything is gone, right? Now, risk of overwriting or resetting loading or response. Yeah, that is what I was saying. Overwriting or resetting of loading or response. So if you are kind of showing the loader and the loader goes off, right? So in that case, you have to send loader true, then loader false. But along with the form values, if you are sending, then if you then you have to do the loader for true once, you have to dispatch, for a loader false also you have to dispatch, right? In both the dispatches, you have to send the form elements, right? So it becomes very difficult to manage if you are having the form elements and the loading of the alert states inside the form state object. Okay. Okay, I'll write the code and show you. Separate. So the solution is separate. You have to do, first of all, separate the state variables for form and side effect. You have to do separate. So don't dispatch them together. Yeah. You have to have separate dispatches. So basically, if you're moving from one form to another form, the previous step or next step, that should be separate dispatch. For the alert messages you are showing, that should be separate dispatch. For the the loading state, that should be separate message. And the form data that is for, while doing form submit or through a button or directly through on submit, that should be a separate dispatch. So these separate dispatches you do. So I've said in the previous video that you shouldn't do multiple dispatches, right? I said it because if you do multiple dispatches, you have to update the context. Every time you dispatch, the reducer updates the state, so that change state will be shared across every component that is there within the provider, right? So in that case, that's a problem. That is correctly a problem. But here it's a bigger problem. Why it's a bigger problem? Because you are mixing both the side effects and the form submit together. So this is a bigger problem than that. So if you have multiple dispatches, it is a problem, but you have to since you are dispatching for different things, so then it can be managed. But here the chances of overwriting is there, so the problem is bigger, right? So if you're having loader or alert messages, you have to manage effectively. Now I'll write the code because this video is getting longer. So what I was trying to say is, now you see, if I go to context example.js, where you have created the context and the reducer, see, for the first step form, I'm having name, age, and first step loading state is false over here. These shouldn't be there. So because, and if there is a kind of something like so alert for first form. So if this is some state is there, right? Now this I have kept it inside this first step form object. So these both of them should be not be here. Okay. So both should not be here. Or in the form object, there should be only form values only. It can be here. Okay. Both of them can be here. Right. I'll just write a comma here. Similarly, for the second object also, I can have, right? Second object also I can have. Second, I have to remove all these loading state and the alert message state for every form object. It should be separate. Now, how can you update it? So let me remove first, then I'll tell you how to update it. Okay. So for the third step also, it is the same thing. So like there are 3 loading state, maybe there can be 1 loading state for the entire application. I'm just having, if you are kind of having a separate loading state for each form, sorry, each form, then you can have like this, or I can have. But for alert messages also, you can have same or different. That is up to you. For the sake of the example, I've just written here in this manner. So this will be second form, and this will be the third form. Okay. So everything is false. Now how to update it? So when you will update it, or where we are using, let me show you the examples. Now I'm having the form object here. I'm having form object here. I'm doing a handle submit, and in the handle submit, kind of I'm doing a API call, right? So fetch API call we have not written, right? So let's write the fetch API. So I'll just write here const fetch API 1 equals to, okay. So here what I'll do, I'll write the try catch block. So inside the try catch block, what I'll do, I will do the API call. So let's get the URL. So see, I'll not run the code. That code you can get easily from ChatGPT. And just write the prompt, you'll get it. I'm just, so there is some dummy URL dot. So I'll just write here. Maybe I'll just write here HTTPS localhost 5002 / API / the endpoint can be, okay. I'll get first form details, kind of. Okay, this may be the API, and then I'll just make the call of using fetch, pass the URL. You know, right, how to do it. You get the JSON, and then you get and then. Okay, these things I'll not write it further because you know how to do it, all this stuff. So basically, it will have you have to write await and all those things. Okay, now what I'm trying to say is, before the try, you will kind of dispatch the loading state, right? So the loading state will have what? This will be an object dispatch. So the type will be for a separate. So this will be update first form loading state. Okay, this is my type, and the payload that I'll pass is, sorry, not capital letter, so small letter. Payload that I'll pass is what? Maybe something like this. Okay, so what we have written, loading state. So this is first step loading state, right? So this I have to pass over here. So this will be initially true because I am showing the loading state. Okay, and the same dispatch I will be doing it in the catch block when the API call fails. Again I have to do. So this will be false because I'm closing the loading state, right? Okay, so this I can do it. Okay. Now same I can here if I get the data. So here I'll get the data, right? So I'll just write here for the alert also I'll just write here. Okay, so this will be update instead of update first form loading state, update first form alert state. Okay, so basically I am showing the alert message, and here instead of this, so what variable we created this show alert for first form, right? So this will be Control C. So this should be some message and everything. Okay, so I'll just write here null because we want the message, not the boolean true or false, right? We want null. So I'll pass some alert messages because that is what will be showing. So in that case, here will be not this. Okay, so this show alert from false. Here I can pass something like this message is some message that form submitted successfully. Okay, and the maybe type of the message can be. So basically you will use this particular variable and pass this to your alert component, and it will take the message and type. So this would be a success type of message, right? And similarly, if there is a failure, the same form you have to dispatch, right? So here so it will be a error or a failure, whatever. The error can be anything due to validation messages, validation error, or but this is a catch block, right? So it's a API response failed. Sorry, API call failed. You can find it. Okay. So these are the two message dispatches, basically 4 dispatches related to loading and alert state. Now, if I so here I have to pass the value, right? So I'll just write here await. So because this should be async in that case, right? Async. Okay. Async. This should be async because I'm writing await. And this await. So I'll just write here return so that I can, because it will give a promise, so I can resolve it. So I have to write here async. So here, when I get the form, here I'm dispatching the form. Now you see what happens. So there is one dispatch here, and there is this is an example that I showed when we are having multiple API response. So imagine that there is only a single API response now. Anyway, multiple or a single doesn't matter, but for this example, let's give a single API response. Okay, and we delete. Where the delete button? Delete. Okay. So assume that there is a single API response. Okay, and this is one dispatch for the form values. Okay, but when I get the response, then one more thing, you have to have a local state, and then you have to keep inside it. Okay, yeah, this look in the local values, you have to keep these kind of the values here, Yeah, but that is a separate thing altogether. We have to use effect, and the value of effect changed, then the values will be passed to this that I said in the previous video. You can go to the video and check. But what I'm trying to say is that this dispatch has only the form values, right? This is in the edit state. In the entry state, like if I have number input values, whatever value am I inputting, it is there in the local values there, and then I can dispatch it. So basically this won't be here. I think writing the example, this will be local state, because I am filling it up, right? So where the local step, yeah. So this is the first step, local values, because I am filling it up. So in the payload, everything. Now in this payload, we don't have the loading and the alert message state, okay? Because there are separate dispatches affected and separate values. Now, does this type exist yet? No, right? This type doesn't exist in my reducer, right? So in the reducer, basically, I have to create a kind of one more case here. So I'll just write here case. So in this case, I'll create this type. And this type, what it does, it will update the update first form alert state. Okay. And what we do in the first form alert state, same for loading state you can create, right? The const here, what to do? So I'll take return. So I can take dot spread operator, use the state. Then first step loading state, I can process action dot payload dot first step loading state, okay, or false. Like the second. So here I'm passing it true or false based on the update. Same. No. This is for alert, right? So in the alert, I'm having the first form payload dot first form alert state. Yeah. So this is the variable. So let me check what is the variable I created. It should be here, right? Yeah. So this is the show alert for first form. Okay. So the show alert for first form will be here, because I'm passing the show alert for first form. Yes, correct. So and the value will be null. So similarly for the loading state you can create. So how many alert state we are creating? Similarly, loading state you can create. Okay. I'll just do a copy paste and then change accordingly. For one of them I created, you can create for so update first form loading state. Okay. So I've written here loading state. This would be okay. This should be loading state. To C and to B, this is B false. Okay. And I have to write here break, because then it will not work. And then similarly, I'll write here a case, and the case will be, what is the case? Loading state. So here I'll go and write it here. This is implemented for both Redux as well as context. Okay, you have to remember that. Update first from loading state. Okay, and then break. Okay, you see nicely how what we did is basically we separated the state object from the form state to a separate state. Okay, for the form and for the loading and response or the alert. So, and then what we did is that we dispatched separately. This dispatch is for form values, and this dispatch is for the alert and the loading state. Now, since the separation of concern is done, is how we have done this. Same, whatever I've written, everything. So there is no problem with this. So whenever it is updating due to a dispatch, the state, the context will be showing the new state to all the components which is there within the provider. So there is no problem. So we have managed it perfectly. Okay. Yeah, so this video is getting longer, so I explained everything related to context and the real-time issues. So all the 3 videos are extremely important, long videos. Go and check it. Okay, and I'm coming up with a course related to interview preparation. A lot of courses I'll be coming up with in Udemy. So hope you buy it and let me know. Write comments, like and share and subscribe to my channel for getting all these real-time videos. All my videos are real-time videos. Okay, thank you very much. I'll stop share now and pause recording.